Good morning, teacher.
Hi, Flor. Good morning. I'm going to start with today's class. Let's practice a little bit before the class so you have an idea of what is the topic about. Remember, sometimes we have one topic, sometimes we have two. Today we have two topics, okay? So let me share my screen. Here we basically have to match the sentences to make sense, okay? So I'm sharing this link on the chat. Did you get it? Okay, if you could share your screen, thank you very much. All right, so let's read the sentences on the left and match them to the sentences in the right. Let's click on start.
Okay. If he hadn't studied every day, he wouldn't have passed the test.
Okay, very good. Next one.
Mm, If they have told us about the end of the movie, we would have watched another one.
All right.
If I hadn't asked the teacher, we wouldn't have known the right answer to the question.
All right. Very good. And finally,
If I had learned Spanish when I was younger, I would have spent my last vacation in Spain.
great. Very good. Let's submit it, please.
If she had invited us to the party, we would have gone.
Excellent. Great job. All right. So that's today's topic. Today we're going to see a new conditional. So let me share my screen, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Flor. So you might have noticed that the conditional that you were reading right now, it was just a little bit different. Maybe it wasn't as easy as the other ones. So usually conditionals, as you remember, we have a condition and then we have a result, right? It's always like that. And we have 4 different type of conditionals. 0, 1, 2, well, 0, first, second, and third. Today we're going to see the last one, okay? Third. So let's read this example. Could you read the condition and then the result, please?
If I had studied harder, I would have passed my exam.
All right, great. Thank you very much. So here's a guy in the middle thinking to himself, right? If I had studied harder, more, right? I would have passed my exam. What do you think it's the tense for these thoughts he's having? Is it present? Is it past? Or it's future?
It's past.
Yes, right? He's thinking to himself, oh, I should have studied harder. And then he's thinking as an imaginary situation, right? I would have passed my exam, but none of them are correct, right? None of them are real. He's just thinking about unreal situations. Let's see the second one.
If it had in this sentence, for example, is for past present, right?
Yes, excellent. That's right. So what do you think is going on here? There are two girls here. What are they doing? What do you think?
They say if the weather it was rain, maybe they can't have the picnic.
Yes, they wouldn't be able to have the picnic. So it's all, they're also thinking about unreal situations, right? Because it's not raining, no, it's sunny. And the picnic wasn't canceled. They are having the picnic, right? So they're thinking about unreal situations, things that could have happened. However, it's not real, right? They're just thinking about imaginary situations, okay? So that's the third conditional. It's called past unreal conditional because we're talking about past conditions and results that never happened, right? It's unreal. And we always have two classes, right? The if clause, in this case, is going to express an unreal condition, an unreal situation. And the result clause is going to express an unreal result. None of them are real, right? They're just imaginary. Again, if class expresses a real condition, the result class expresses a real result. Let's see an example. Could you read it, please?
If I had been more careful, we would have had the evidence.
All right. So which sentence here is the unreal condition? The first one or the second one?
The first one.
Yes, the first. No, it's in the same color. So the unreal condition is if I had been more careful, and then the result is, oh, we will have, and then they think about an unreal result, right? In this example, it means like this was about Talia. No, she wasn't careful. No, it's thinking to herself, oh, it had been more careful, but she wasn't, right? And then she thinks, oh, I would have had this, but she doesn't have this evidence, right? Both of them are unreal. Just remember that. Any questions so far?
No, it's okay.
Okay, great. So again, if class unreal condition, result class express unreal result. Because we're talking about an unreal condition and unreal result, besides of or talking about an imaginary situation or a real situation, we can also talk about regrets. Let's see an example. Could you read this, please?
If I hadn't messed it up, we'd have the recording now.
All right, great. So remember, we always use contractions, right? In this case, we are using a negative in the if clause, no? To express this regret, no? If I hadn't messed it up. And then we have, oh, we had the recording now. Just remember the contraction, for instance, for hadn't, in the past perfect, it's had not, right? And the contraction for we, in the second sentence here, it's for we would. All right. So remember, we always use contractions. And well, in this example, she's regretting, no? If she hadn't messed it up, no, they're talking about a recording, she will have she will have the recording. No, this is a regret. Usually with the negative in the if clause, it's express regret. All right, let's continue. Just remember the form. Okay, so as you already realized, the form in the if clause is past perfect, right? For instance, here we have a negative. However, it could be had plus the past participle or had not, but we write, we use contractions, right? Hadn't in the past participle. Okay. Okay, let's read this example, please.
If you hadn't done such a good job, we'd never have known the truth.
All right. So this is the if clause, right? From here until the comma. Here we have the past perfect, right? You already recognize it. In the second part, in the result clause, we use would have. No, that's why, for instance, here we have the contraction, right? So in the other clause is would have, plus also a past participle. If I want to write a negative, it's would not have plus the participle. All right. But remember, we use contractions, right? So let's read the example one more time, please.
If you hadn't done such a good job, we'd never have known the truth.
Thank you very much. So in this case, we're using past perfect, hadn't not done, no, past participle, had, past participle, and in the result clause, had participle. We had never known. The use of never is very common with the perfect tenses. No, usually we can continue using the perfect time expression, sorry, for the perfect tenses, no? For instance, when we use have, had. So that is just to specify the meaning. However, we have would, have, and this is the past participle. All right. So any questions so far?
No, it's clear.
Okay, great. We're going to practice this, obviously, so you have the idea of the form very clear. All right. And remember, in conversations, we always use contractions, no? So like I mentioned before, apostrophe D in the second clause, it means would, and wouldn't is for would not, right? Will not, and then wouldn't will be wouldn't have, right? Oh, sorry, I didn't send it. Wouldn't have. All right. So we can also use contractions up here in the if clause. So it will be contraction had or hadn't or had not. So let's see an example of many contractions. Okay. There is also, we can also use modal verbs. Remember, these are modal verbs to be a little bit more specific. So instead of in the result clause, we use would, right? I can also use might, could, or should. So for instance, if I want to talk about something that is not very sure, I can use might, have, plus, the past participle. Or I can use could, have, plus the past participle when I'm talking about something that is possible. Or I could use should have plus the past participle when I'm talking about a suggestion. All right, so I can replace would with other modal verbs.
Okay.
So let's read the sentence, please. Let's read the first one time, and then we will use each of the sentences, each of the modal verbs. So if he had left earlier, he would, and then we complete the idea. We read it again, and then we read he might, no? We read it again, he could, or he should. All right? So we understand the idea.
If he have left earlier,
Yes. He would.
he would have mm,
Cut.
had maybe if he have left earlier, he would hadn't. He wouldn't have.
It's just a regret, no? If he had left earlier, he would have cut the bus. No, si hubiera. If he would have left, si se hubiera ido, no? Earlier, he would have cut the bus. Or he might have cut the bus. No es negativo, no es. Podría ser, pero it's not necessarily.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so let's read this sentence and then read with each one. Okay, he would have cut the bus. He might have cut the bus. He could have cut the bus. He should have cut this.
If he had left earlier, he might have caught the bus.
Next one.
If he had left earlier, he could have caught the bus.
Next one.
If he had left earlier, he should have caught the bus.
Great. So when we mention each of the modal verbs, the meaning changed just a little bit, right? For instance, would, we're adding the ending, no? So we're talking about an unreal situation. He might, no, something that is not very sure, we already know or understand the meaning. Might, could, he could have, no, something that it could have been possible, and should, like a suggestion, no, she should have got. All right, is this part clear? Clear?
See?
All right, great. So it's not very difficult. Just remember that it's flexible. Instead of would, I can use any other modal verb. And like we already mentioned, no? Let's read this sentence, please.
If Talia had had more time, she might have remembered to check the buttons.
Thank you very much. It's remembered. We don't pronounce the E. Remember.
Okay.
And now the second example, please.
If she had checked the buttons, she couldn't pretend her mistake.
Very good. So in this case, in this example, we're using might, and then we're using could, right? Remember, we use always contractions. So for instance, here we have a contraction. Could have, could apostrophe be, or should have, should apostrophe be, or might have, might apostrophe. All right, that's very common, like I mentioned before. So we could have used the contraction here, for example, not she apostrophe D, right? So whenever we can, we should use contractions. Any questions, maybe?
No,
All right,
okay.
let me write the contractions. That one should or might. Okay, so just remember the abbreviation, don't get confused. If we have the if class, the contraction it means had, no? However, if we see the same contractions in the result class, it's not had, right? It's would. Could you read this example, please?
If I known it was your birthday, I've had bought you a present.
Excellent, thank you very much. So in this example, we're using contractions, right? However, just recognize in the if class, it means had. In the result class, the contractions means would. Okay, and to finish with this, we use commas. It's the same rule in all of the conditionals, right? If I start with the if class, I have to put a comma to make a difference between the result class. But if I'm using if I'm putting, sorry, the result class first, I don't need to write a comma here because if it's being used as a separation between two ideas. Could you read both examples, please?
If I had been more careful, we wouldn't have the evidence.
We wouldn't.
We would
Mhm.
have the evidence if I had been more careful.
Thank you very much. So you can see, no, it doesn't matter the order. If we change the order, it's fine. The meaning, it doesn't change at all. Just remember that if we use or we put the if class first, we need a comma. But if we change the order, we don't need a comma when I put the if class second. All right?
Okay.
That's all. Well, in this to recap, no, because remember this is the for class, the unreal conditional. We use the if plus the past perfect in the if class, and we use would have plus the past participle in the result class. However, we can replace this with could, should, or might, right? And let's read the last example, please. That down here.
If she had studied harder, she would have passed the exam.
Great job. All right, so that's today's first topic. Let's practice a little bit. Let me share this exercise with you. Let's try to see the logic. So you basically are going to put in order these words in these spaces to make sense. All right. So we just drag them. Let me share this through the chat. Could you click on the exercise, please? All right. So how can we put these words in order?
If you had been more careful, you wouldn't have had an accident.
All right. Second. So,
If I had seen you, I would have said hello. I have taken a photo if I would brought my camera with me.
okay, but pay attention to this sentence. Is the if clause at the beginning or is in the second sentence?
Is the second.
Right? So it's the if clause used with would.
Mm, I would have taken a photo if I had brought my camera with me.
Better. Okay, next one, please.
She hadn't been gone to your birthday party if she would have sick.
Mhm. Remember the if clause, sorry, uses the past perfect. You can go back if you want to number 3. Oh, sorry, it's that one, yes. No, sorry, number 4, yes. So the if clause doesn't use would, right? Can you find the if clause?
The if class is the second.
Yes. Does the if clause uses would?
Okay.
Mhm.
She would have gone to your party if she hadn't been sick.
Yeah. This is a question.
Would you have told me if you've known about it?
All right, very good.
What would you have done if you had been me? If it had rained, would you have had the picnic? If I had studied, I wouldn't have failed the exam. If they hadn't come, I would have been disappointed.
All right, Great job, Flor. So there is another exercise on the chat. In this one, we're going to put the words in order so we can try to make sense to the sentence. Just track the words and try to put them in order.
If you had called me, I would have come.
Mhm.
If I had read that book, I would have known the answer. If we hadn't known him, we would have believed him. If I hadn't eaten so much, I wouldn't have felt sick. If we had taken a taxi, we wouldn't have missed the plane.
last one. Past participle.
She would have become a teacher. If she had gone to the university.
All right. Great job, Flor. So now let's continue to the next topic. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So in this topic, we're going to see this one. Could you read the example, please?
You were supposed to be here 45 minutes ago.
So in this example, it's expressing maybe some anger, and it's saying, no, you were supposed to be here 45 minutes ago. No, you were supposed to. So that's today's topic. Be supposed to. Let's see a little bit about this. Okay, so be supposed to. Oh, sorry. Okay, we use be supposed to in the simple present to express present or future expectation. So for instance, in an example, it goes, you were supposed to be here, right? You were supposed to. So this be could be, because it's be supposed to. Now this be could be a present, past, or present or past. So let's see an example. Could you read it, please?
John is supposed to be in the office now.
So here we're talking about present, no present, simple present, to express maybe present or future expectations, right? John is supposed to be here. So the use of this be is changing here to get adapted to the subject, right? For instance, John is a singular. We're talking about present, so we use is, right? The second example, please.
He isn't supposed to be in the office tomorrow.
Right. So in this second example, is it expressing present or future expectations? What do you think?
A future expectation.
Yes, future. For instance, the first example, it's saying now, no? In the office now, this can help us to recognize it, no? So obviously they're talking about the present. In the second example, in the time expression, we have tomorrow. That's why we know that it's in the future, right? It's a future expectation. And for instance, as you can see here, we can see that we can write this be in affirmative and negative. And sometimes when we want to express simple past or past expectations, we use was or were. All right, could you read the examples, please? The three of them.
Nate was supposed to arrive at 7.
All right.
Tania was supposed to press both buttons, but she didn't.
All right.
We were supposed to be celebrating tonight.
Excellent. So for instance, in this case, we're using the verb be in past. So it's same logic, right? Was or were, depending if it's singular or plural, right? And the first two examples are singular, that's why we were using was. And in the third one, we have a plural, so we use were, right?
Yes.
So pay attention to the verb here, arrive, press, be. In what tense are they?
The verb is in present.
Right? So pay attention to that. Doesn't matter if what tense I'm using, either present or past. In the verb be, the verb that follows supposed to always goes in the base form. And in these examples, these situations, we're talking about events that didn't happen as planned. No? So we were supposed to arrive at 7, but it didn't happen like that. No, Talia was supposed to press the buttons. It didn't happen. Or we were supposed to be celebrating tonight. Same thing. So it's not real. Okay, so they were supposed to do it, however, it didn't go as planned. All right, any questions so far?
No, it's okay.
So the time expressions can help us to talk about the tense, no? Either now, tonight, tomorrow. And remember the time expressions always go, or maybe a time, no? This usually goes at the end. But you can also use it at the beginning of the sentence and the meaning doesn't change at all. So for instance, you can say at 7 o'clock, Nick was supposed to arrive. Or tonight, we were supposed to be celebrating, right? The time expressions can go at the beginning or at the end of the sentence. Next. And to talk about, well, this is the form, right? I already explained this, but no, the verb be, and it's on the chat, no? In present, we can use am, is, or are. Now this verb changes depending if the subject is singular or plural. And then we have supposed to, and then plus the base form of the verb, right? But I can also use the verb be in past tense. So I can use here was or were, depending if the subject is singular or plural. Then supposed to plus the base form of the verb. Could you read this example, please?
It now we're supposed to be celebrating.
Yes, great, thank you very much. I know we were supposed to. So supposed to, it never changes. It's always the same. Supposed to, and then the be. Any questions?
No.
Okay, so it's not very complicated. We just change it to the past or maybe to present. And well, okay, this shouldn't. All right, so let me share the next exercise, please. Be supposed to. Let's practice until we have enough time. Well, until the class finishes. There are many exercises, but let's see until where we can get, okay? And the explanation here, well, the explanation is already here. We don't need it because we already practiced, right? So let's start with this exercise. Let me share it in the chat. So the first exercise, we'll just basically put the verbs here on the blank spaces to make sense, okay? And in the second one, you're going to write some supposed situations to complete the ideas. Let's try to work those two. You can share the screen, please. All right. What verb from the cupcake can we put there?
We was supposed to be here at 4 p.m.
Number 2.
My brother was not supposed to lend his friend's toy.
Lend.
Lost
It could be, but try writing whatever you think. And if
or
it's,
lost his friend's toys.
we will change. Okay, number 3.
We were supposed to.
But no, the verse, sorry. The verse and in the cupcake next to it. We have to choose the verse from there. So in the second one,
Okay.
yes, what do you think we can put in the second one from those verbs? In number 2.
Still,
Yes, right. Still.
3, we are supposed to go swimming, but it's raining hard right now.
All right, excellent. Number 4.
Students are supposed to listen to the teacher's explanation.
Very good. Excellent. Number 5.
I'm supposed to buy groceries this Sunday. They are not supposed to
Buy is correct. Yes. Number 6.
they are not supposed to hang up the event.
Oh, okay.
Get off the event.
It could be. Write whatever you think and then we will change if it's not correct.
And 7, I'm supposed to be in the airport at 8. Brothers and sisters are supposed to call along.
Maybe one of the previous sentences is not correct. Along, it means like get a good relationship, right? So what word can help us, what verb can help us to talk about getting a good relationship with someone?
Get.
Right? So what do you think that in number 6?
How of
Okay, could be number
9 those college students are supposed to check in the task by Friday. He is supposed to by surgery immediately.
I think there is one that you haven't used for number 10. I don't think you use have, did you?
He is supposed to have surgery.
Yeah, because you cannot buy a surgery, right? You can pay maybe or pay off, but you can't just buy a surgery.
Yes.
All right, and let's finish with the last part. Well, exercise B. We have to write, depending on your opinion, complete the idea. No, we use be supposed to complete the idea. For example, the first example, no, my neighbor parked his car in front of my house. He was supposed to park his car in his own garage. No, that's the suggestion. So how can we complete Ruby was late with be supposed to?
Okay.
What do you think? Excellent. And what action can we? Could you read it, please?
She was supposed to be here early.
All right. That's very good. Number 2. The party is held at a 5-star hotel.
What is hell?
Uh, like it's going to be uh, going to be happening in this 5-star hotel.
Mm,
Sorry for the noise. I'm going to turn off mine. All right. Can you read it, please? Number 3.
okay. Yes, the party is supposed to head at 5-star hotel.
All right. Great. Okay, let's do one more and then we will finish today's class. It says the market is open at 7.
The market is supposed to open at 7.
Very good. Okay, maybe we can check the answers. You can go all the way down and let's see how you did so far. All right, very good. So the verb in number 6 was call. They're not supposed to call off. Call off means like to cancel. No, they're not supposed to cancel the event. Number 7 was check. I'm supposed to check in at the airport, not at 8. And number 9, it was hand. Those those college students are supposed to hand in the test by Fridays. It means like to present or to give the teachers, no, the teacher, or to put their homework in the teacher's test on Friday. All right. So
Okay.
you practicing if you want to understand a little bit the logic. However, with this same exercise because it's longer, right? So if you want to exercise C, you can redo it one more time. It's just do matching, writing the letters on the little boxes. And in D, you have a little story and you just have to write just some examples. Well, try to write, be supposed to about the story. Try to write, be supposed to continue to talk about this. All right. So I hope it was clear. I'm sorry we didn't have a this one. However, it's not that complicated, right? So do you have any questions maybe, Fleur?
For the moment, no.
Okay, great. So you got today's polls. Let me check when you get it. Thank you very much, Fleur. So I'll see you on Friday, okay? Have a good day.
Okay, teacher, bye.
Bye, Fleur. Thank you.